Hi, I'm Paul Andrews here to talk about why you might want to have two bikes, one a 27.5 and one a 29er. In front here we have the Spot Ride 115, 115 millimeter in the rear, 120 up front. This is a great bike for all around cross country slash down country, long rides in the high country during the summertime, and all around trail riding. Behind it is the Santa Cruz Bronson. And this is for getting a little more rowdy, a little more gnarlier trails, particularly up here in the Pacific Northwest. Summertime, things get pretty challenging on the trails, and so you might want something with a little more travel. This is a 160 up front, 150 in the rear. So don't take me too serious on this. Not everybody wants or needs two bikes, particularly bikes with different wheel sizes, and that's a whole nother can of worms. But for my riding, which is a mix of the classic single track, particularly during the summertime when I like to go in the high country and do all-day epics, mixed in with a healthy dose of PNWmtb, 2 for set does come in handy. What it comes down to is a choice of weapons. The strengths of a 29er for me are how much real estate it covers, how it carries its momentum, its rollover advantages, and on the Spot Ride 115 anyway, its versatility over a wide range of terrain and conditions. But on the real rooty, loose, rowdy trails we have here in Washington State and British Columbia, you need more travel. You need slacker geometry and an overall burlier build to hold up in the demolition zones we like to call Black Diamond. So why not get one of the monster trucks like the Specialized Enduro or the Santa Cruz Mega Tower? There are a bunch of them out there. Long travel 29ers, why not get one of those? It's a good question. For me, the answer goes back to my first 27.5, which was an intense tracer 275C bike that was pretty much ahead of its time. It was a great bike, and I really loved it, but after a couple of years I got bit by the 29er bug, and I swore I'd never go back. Then last summer a friend let me ride his Bronson on one of my favorite trails, and I realized I was really missing something with the 29ers. On long travel 29ers you can just bash your way through and over everything. Bam, bam, bam. It's like busting Bronco time. For a while that's great. You're riding stuff you didn't think you could handle, and you're doing a lot faster than you ever thought was possible. But when I rode the same sections on the Bronson, I realized I was captaining the cockpit a lot more. In its own way, that was actually a lot more fun. I could pick different lines. I stopped quicker. I started faster. You could whip the bike around a lot easier. You could catch air better. There's just a lot more variety to the ride on a 27.5, and it just felt a lot livelier and more manageable. It wasn't just point and shoot like I had with the long travel 29er. When I stopped to analyze it, I realized that despite the penalties of less rollover, less momentum, and less sheer bash-through factor on the 27.5, I got the trade-offs and advantages of acceleration, quickness, and nimbleness. The 29er big momentum means braking takes longer, it's less precise. It's great once you get up to speed, but the transitions are slower. In the air, the 29er gyro effect definitely has an impact. It's much more pronounced. And on a rooty climb, yeah, the 27.5 sacrificed a little bit, didn't have quite the rollover, but I could accelerate up stuff and pick my lines a lot easier. On tight switchbacks, it always gave me trouble, particularly on the downhill side. I could whip around those babies a lot easier on the 27.5. And I like being closer to the ground on the 27.5. That lower center of gravity really gave me a increased sense of stability and security. The other thing, you can build up a 27.5 lighter because of the smaller wheels and tighter geometry. My Bronson's under 28 pounds. My long travel 29er was over 30, and a lot of those guys are getting in the 32, 33, 35 pound range. So yeah, to me, weight still does matter. So I'm not trying to diss long travel 29ers here, folks. They definitely have their place on certain trails and certain rides. They're indispensable. Um, and, you know, I'm sticking with the Spot Ride 115 29er as my all-arounder. It's a great bike. But when it's time to get a little friskier, a little more playful, the Bronson is definitely my go-to. I think 27.5 still have their place there. Anyway, hope this makes some sense. That's why I need two bikes.